Hey guys, it's Danny. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another plant themed video. I do have a lot of indoor plants and I do get a lot of questions in my DMs on Instagram about plant care, beginner plants, and just advice on specific plants. And I just figured I'd make a general beginner indoor plant video just with some tips and tricks of basic care to help any of you that have had questions about plant care. In this video, I will be going over types of plants that I think are good for your first time or as a beginner houseplant owner, light, soil, potting, watering, fertilization, and any extra tips I can think of. So if you like this video, definitely remember to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more videos. I do a lot of lifestyle, fashion, try on haul videos, and plant ones. I don't know, it's just kind of random thrown in according to my interests and your interests. So if you ever have a request for a video, definitely remember to leave it in the comments down below and I will possibly make that video for you. So without further ado, like I always say, let's get into this video. Choosing the right houseplant for you has to really do with your personal lifestyle, the amount of care you're able to put into that specific plant, and your home environment. If you have a dry home, if you can get a humidifier and give the plant a more humid environment if it needs that. It really has to do with the plant's specific needs and the placement in your home and how much you're willing to put in. So there are easier plants and there are more difficult plants. So I would definitely stick with one of the easier ones if you're new to house plants in general. And some of the easier plants that I personally started with and I would recommend and you can find easily: aloe vera, succulents, pothos, philodendrons, snake plants specifically. Snake plants thrive off of neglect. You just have to not overwater them. Super easy to take care of and can be low light. Peace lilies, even ivy are good for first-time plant owners or beginners that aren't used to the level of care it takes to take care of a houseplant. I mean, some can be really finicky. They just come in all shapes and sizes and moods, and some are nice and some are really kind of annoying to take care of. But those are generally the best and easiest plants to start with. I have a few of them behind me and they come in different varieties, so you can kind of move up from there. If you have really low light or just artificial light, then you don't have like a spot for the plant that has a window within 6 feet. Some low light plants actually thrive in environments like that. So some of the good lower light plants, maybe for an office space, a bathroom, apartment, could be Chinese evergreens, snake plants, peace lilies. They love being in lower light. They actually will burn if they're in direct light. Dracaena, spider plants, they can be good in the bathroom as well. ZZ plants are really, really hardy, strong plants that are very hard to kill. The only thing you need to worry about when you have a lower light situation or just artificial light would be overwatering. These plants aren't in as much sunlight or not getting as much sun as another plant in the sun would be, so they are going to need less water. So if the soil feels damp at all, you want to leave it alone. These can go longer without being watered usually. My second tip for beginner houseplant owners would be to save the original tags. Simple as that. Usually when you buy a plant, especially if it's from a big box store, you will have a care tag that comes with the plant that tells you the type of light, the type of soil, the type of watering needs that the plant specifically has. So you want to keep that, even if you don't want to keep it in the pot, just have a little box or a safe spot to put it so you can refer back to that. And if all else fails, there's always Google. That's how I found out a lot about each specific plant that I own. The number one cause of houseplant death is overwatering. You get a new plant, you want to take care of it, you're trying to water it and think that that is going to be doing it good and giving it attention, but most houseplants don't need a lot of work, especially the ones that I listed earlier. They just need to be watered once or twice a week usually. It's important to learn how often watering is needed for your specific plant. So the biggest thing that I've learned is to just stick a finger down around 2 inches into the soil and see if it's moist. If it's moist, it doesn't need water. It's good for now. You can also get a plant water meter, which is the best thing that I've ever found houseplant care wise. I'll leave one link down below so you can purchase it as well because it's super cheap and amazing for houseplant care. It's just this little meter you stick down to the root level and it will tell you if the soil is dry, moist, or wet. So when in doubt, wait it out. If it starts to weep a little bit and it's getting completely dried out, it's time to water. You didn't kill it yet, at least. Just water it. And the best water to add is warm water. You might want to even leave tap water out overnight just so that anything that could be in that water kind of dissipates and you're getting very pure or somewhat pure warm water to the plant. You don't want to use cold water and shock it. Plants like to be watered in different ways, but I would say that most houseplants do not want their leaves to get wet. So the general idea of watering these plants is just to water it at soil level. The way that I would recommend doing it is waiting for the soil to dry out, then taking it to your bathtub or sink and soaking the soil until the water starts to come out of the drainage holes, so you know that it is completely watered throughout all the way down to the roots and that it's not going to be sitting in any kind of water. Drainage holes are really important to have in a pot. Your pot should have drainage holes, even if you don't want to have that pot on display. Like, that's not the pot you want to see. You want a prettier, more decorative pot. You can put that one inside of a kind of coverage container just so it looks nicer, but it still has a drainage option. But you just need to make sure that if there's water, a lot of water coming out of those drainage holes into the second pot, that you empty that second pot, because then it's still sitting in water. You can also add rocks to the bottom of whatever pot you're using if it doesn't have drainage holes, and that will help avoid the plant from sitting in its own water. Also check for your specific plant's type of fertilizer. I would say this one is pretty much good for any beginner like houseplant. This is what I use for all of my houseplants currently. It's just the Miracle-Gro indoor plant food. It feeds instantly. You can put it directly into the soil, or you can mix it with water in a watering can if you have a lot of plants that you need to go through. But yeah, this is something you can just get at your local grocery store or nursery. Super easy to find. I'll also leave it linked down below if I can find a link online for easier access, or maybe it's cheaper online. As your plant grows healthier and bigger, if it's very happy and being taken care of, then it may need to be repotted. So signs that your plant needs to be repotted and moved up to a bigger pot would be the roots coming out of the drainage holes on the bottom. You may see the roots start coming out. If they start twisting around each other, it could choke the plant out. You want to make sure it gets more room to spread out those nice roots. And another sign would be if your plant's kind of drying out faster with no water schedule changes. So you're watering as normal and you're seeing the water go through the soil like really super fast and it's drying out faster. That's a sign that it needs to be repotted most likely. And the third sign that it needs to be repotted would be like no new leaf production slower, smaller, it's kind of getting dead leaves. It might be a sign that it needs to be repotted. So just kind of look at it. It generally will most likely look like it's too big for the pot it's in, and give that baby a new home. And when you repot, you want to make sure you use the proper soil for your plant. Every plant has a different type of soil need. Most houseplants, I would say, could just be happy with a general houseplant soil with good drainage. So obviously there's exceptions, cacti, aloe, orchids, like they have different soil needs where it needs to be just like a different makeup of it. But for your regular kind of houseplant, I will leave a couple links to my favorite houseplant soils and mixtures down below in the description for you to check out. I like mixing perlite in with my houseplant soil just to give that extra drainage, because as you have a plant inside, it's just easier for it to stay moist. You don't want it to kind of sit there and be wet for too long. It can lead to fungus and pest problems. When you're repotting, wet the soil a little bit that you're putting in the new pot, because it encourages the roots to go and grow and spread out and explore the new territory. To encourage new growth, remember to clip off any dead leaves that you see. This isn't gonna harm the plant. It's actually gonna give the plant more focus and kind of give more energy to producing new growth than focusing on trying to revive the old growth. So it'll give it a boost of energy if you just get rid of the dead foliage. Leaves on your plant are actually its respiratory system. It's how they breathe essentially, and they have tiny pores on the leaves that could get kind of clogged or gunked up. Being in a home environment, it gets dust on it and other contaminants, so it's always good to give your plant a leaf bath every once in a while. And the best way to do this without like overwhelming the plant, I've found, is just a little bit of lemon juice mixed with water on a damp cloth. A microfiber cloth would be the best, so it can pick up any of the contaminants, and you just want to wipe every leaf down with that. It'll help breathe, it'll make it shinier and look healthier, and you just don't want to use too much water to where it's saturated, but just enough to kind of give it a little cleaning. If it's a more fuzzier leaf, you want to try to use a toothbrush and no water, just so it doesn't kind of affect that leaf. It's important to also change locations. If your plant is looking a little unhappy, it might not be in the right light for it. There's different sides of your home that have different types of light. A west window is different than like a north or south window. So definitely take time to research the type of light it's getting and kind of just look at it throughout the day and try to get an idea of if it's getting too direct sun or not enough sun, and if you need to move it around. When I started getting houseplants, I was constantly rotating the plants around. I still do that with new plants that I'm still getting used to their care, as I'm trying to find the best sunlight for them and then where they're the happiest. If it looks like it's burning a little, it might be into much direct sunlight. Like a peace lily does not need to be in right next to a window. I had it too close to a window and my peace lily's leaves started looking kind of crispy and brown on the edges, and that's definitely a sure sign that it's getting too much sun and it's gonna burn the leaves. So just take time to refer back to your care tags or Google what type of light is best for your specific plant. And you can also get a grow light. I have actually one back here. You probably can't see it in frame, but the shelf behind me doesn't get a lot of natural sunlight, and there are some plants on there that want more light. So to supplement that, I got a little grow light that kind of emits the type of light that the plant needs to grow and feed off of. So it is getting supplementary artificial light as well as natural light from this window here, but just not too direct of light. So I think it's kind of the perfect balance for those plants that I keep back there. I also have a bigger grow light in my basement that really encourages growth in plants. So if something isn't doing well, or I want it to flower more, I want it to root faster, if I'm propagating, I'll put those plants underneath the grow light down there, because it has different colored lights in there that do different things for the plant's growth. It's really interesting to research grow lights and how they work indoors. So if you need supplemental light, definitely look into a grow light. I'll leave some link down below. It's a lot of trial and error and a lot of learning, a lot of Googling when you own a houseplant, but it's definitely rewarding and worth it. And whenever you're dealing with plants, don't get discouraged if things don't work out. Some plants just die, and that's just the way it is. You start over, you try again, you learn new things, and you build up off of that. You'll get better and better as time goes on with trial and error, and learn from that. So I hope you liked this video, and I hope it helps some aspiring new plant owners. If you liked it, definitely remember to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel for more videos, press that notification bell to be notified every time I post a new video so you don't miss one, and I will leave any links to helpful products for new plant owners down below in the description box. So definitely remember to check those out, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.